A little while ago, I was reading a bit about paranoia, and it made me think about how childhood trauma can cause someone to be paranoid. And the name of this article is, Can Childhood Trauma Cause Someone to be Paranoid? Thanks to how someone typically experiences life, they can have what could be seen as a fairly troubled existence. Then again, it could be even worse than this, as their life could be extremely difficult. The reason for this is that they could find it hard to trust others and to accept that not everyone wants to harm them in some way. In general, then, they could believe that the world is out to get them and to make their life a misery. Due to this, they could spend most of their time by themselves or spend large periods of time away from others. By isolating themselves, they might be able to feel safer and not as though their survival is under threat. So, although they can end up feeling lonely and cut off from others, it may give them a break from all the pain and stress that they experience when they are around others. This may mean that they don't have any close friends. This will cause them to be deprived of the human contact that they need, but they might simply not trust others enough to let anyone in. Over the years, they may have pushed a number of people away. Therefore, people who actually cared and could be trusted may then have been perceived wrongly and accused of things that were not true. If they do have any friends, they might only have people around who are more like associates. When they are around others, they could believe that so many people are staring and saying bad things about them. They may believe that so many people want to humiliate and show them up. Along with this, they could believe that after receiving a certain look, that someone wants to attack and even end their life. With all this going on, no wonder they won't want to spend much time around others. Most likely, they will feel like a victim, and just about everyone they come into contact with will be seen as a potential perpetrator. It won't be a case of if another person will harm them. It will be a case of when they will harm them. Feeling anxious, fearful, and even terrified is likely to be a normal part of their life. That is unless they are away from others, but even then they could still be on edge. Ultimately, they won't need to go anywhere else to experience hell. They will be, or often will be, living in hell. Now, if they arrive at the point where they were able to open up to someone about their experience, they could end up being told that it is all in their head. It is then not that the world is out to get them, that people want to humiliate and harm them. For instance, this is just what they believe. They are then projecting their inner experience onto the world. And even if there are moments when they are humiliated and harmed, it still doesn't mean that everyone is the same. Consequently, it will be necessary for them to change their irrational thoughts and beliefs. However, what if there is far more to it than this? What if, although their inner experience and how they experience life is irrational now, what if there was a time when it was completely rational? To shed light on what might actually be going on, it might be necessary to take a closer look at what took place during their formative years. This may have been a stage of their life that was brutal, to say the least. When they were a child, they may have had at least one parent who was anything but loving. For example, this parent may have often verbally abused them, so humiliated them in one or a number of ways, and physically harmed them, so hit them using their hands and other things. This would have stopped them from being able to develop a felt sense of trust, self-worth, self-love, and to believe that they were not wanted and didn't belong. Right from the beginning, it would have felt as though it was them against the world. Without realizing it, as their brain would have blocked out what took place originally to protect them. how they experience life as an adult will be a continuation of what it was like for them as a child. Their conscious mind, for not having access to the deeper level pain that is fueling what is going on, pain that is trying to enter their conscious awareness, will come up with rationalizations to make sense of what they are unconsciously projecting onto the world and to allow them to keep it together. What took place will be over, but the pain that they experienced all those years ago will still be held inside their brain and body, and it will prevent them from truly being able to move on from what happened and to be present. This means they are not crazy. They have simply been doing their best to handle life and not fall apart. So if you can relate to this and you can see that you are often paranoid, or perhaps this is something that is even worse and is debilitating, then please know, as I said, this doesn't mean that you are crazy. This is just a natural outcome of what you experienced very early on and how your early experiences are being projected onto the present. So in order to move forward, you may need to reach out for external support so that you can start to work through the inner material that is inside you. And the main thing is that you don't suffer in silence and you do what you need to do to gradually change your life. If you'd like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.